I have returned a deflux saying nice during the break. Was that a reaction to one of the clips, or just my BRB screen in general, or who knows? All right, so we are the clips. Yeah, there's some good clips. It's really great. I love seeing the ones from, I have a few that come up occasionally from like the first month or two of me streaming. And it's nice to, you know, it's kind of nostalgic. Like the other mod pack, the first one that I did on stream that I completed. I mean, it wasn't, I don't know if it even still is at this point, Create Astral, like a completed mod pack at this point, but I completed everything that was, you know, kind of the end, that was in at that point. It was great. It was the first mod pack I really, got to the end of. And we'll see if someday I'll get to the end of, Breakdown New Horizons. Might be a few years. All right, so we're gonna put a pin in the progress bar stuff, and we're gonna go over to look at the timeline, and getting that working. So we have a timeline, and what I would like to be able to do is hover over and see. You can see, you can barely see the crosshairs on the stream. So I have a thing you can hover over to see. Oh, that blue bar that's across the whole thing. This is a test highlight. Actually, if we go into default, you can see what the data is there, right? So, so we can see, like, in this object, this highlights from 0 to 3,600 seconds. So that's the whole bar. That's that test highlight. And then there's the other thing here. This is a test attention. So in the attentions array, there's an item starting and ending, you know, 36 seconds to 72 seconds into the timeline. But it would be nice, and what I want is that somewhere, somehow, also you can zoom in and out here with the scroll wheel. But I would like to have a hover over that shows the current what the time is at any given place on this. So let's figure out how to do that. Not in video player. I just wanted to collapse that. There we go. All right, go away. So we have a timeline organism. Yes. And I think what we can do is, so how does this work? So the timeline is a React component, like, you know, and all of this is using React. It's a React component that takes some props. It takes content, which is kind of just the description of the video. Is reminding me I have another thing that we need to do at some point to just kind of like clean up all the types across the project, because it's kind of a mess. But anyway, the content of the video, playhead time. So this is where, that's what that green marker is. Like, we can change this to like 7200. If I just like very slowly change that number, it will very slowly move. This is in milliseconds. Yeah, there you go. So that's the playhead time. On seek to time is if I click on the time anywhere, it calls on seek to time. On item select. So that one is if is it shift click? No, control click, shift click. Oh, but it's not instrumented. 1 second. So if we do, I think I added that after I added the story. So let's add a thing that logs when on item select happens. There we go. So now if I shift click There we go, on item select, and this gives me the information about the object on the timeline that I clicked, right? So that's the overall test highlight, and that one before was the test attention. So all that works, but I would like something on hover. So back to the component. So we create a ref, and the ref is the yeah, I should it's a accessibility warning coming from Biome, that if I have on click, I should have some kind of keyboard interactivity, and maybe I'll do that at some point. But yeah, so container ref is the ref of the div that contains everything on the timeline. And so the timeline is composed of a time segment marker for the playhead, and then a list of elements that show up as timeline elements. And then everything that we are doing at this level is on the div mostly. I think we are, yeah, we do have a callback here for on click on the timeline element to handle the item selection, and yeah, that's about it. Okay, so we might just add like an on hover. Except there is no such thing as on hover. If only there was. We have to do like onMouseEnter, onMouseLeave. Yeah. Yeah. onMouseEnter. Or we could do onMouseMove. No, well, I mean, yes, we have to do all three, right? We have to do onMouseEnter, onMouseLeave, and then onMouseMove, right? Because we need to keep track of. No, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And the reason why is if you were to just to do this. This is like a classic front end thing, right? So if we just say, oh, if the mouse enters the div, flag it, right? And then when it leaves, unflag it. And then on mouse move, if the flag is present, then do the hover effect. Well, that doesn't work because you can definitely have things where how do I want to do that? Let's do it this way and see how that goes. So we'll do a let's do handle mouse enter, handle mouse leave. Yeah, I know these functions don't exist yet, but they will. They will. Mouse move. And we'll hide all the rest of this stuff. We don't need to see all this. Why is this called handle drag start? Start dragging? Oh, hey, look, I'm already handling mouse up and mouse move and all that. Since when can I do dragging on the timeline? What's it mean? I'm discovering what past me did. So what is dragging used for? Okay, so we have a handle drag. Oh, we can pan by dragging? Oh, I guess we can. If we zoom in. Yeah. Hey, look at that. I forgot. Okay, so we already have handlers that hook onto all the events in question. They're up here. So why? This ties into the thing I was thinking about that I couldn't put into words before. But specifically for dragging, is where the thing I was thinking of comes into play, right? So if I'm dragging and I move the mouse outside of the div, I still want to continue dragging, right? This is less of an issue for hover, right? If I'm hovering and I move the mouse out, I don't want I probably don't want the hover to stay. I want it to go away. So onMouseLeave makes sense. But specifically for dragging, you want to be able to drag and then have the mouse outside of the element, because otherwise you have to be really careful, especially if it's a kind of a narrow thing. But yeah, anyway, I think that's where my brain was going. But regardless, we have event listeners. And we can do this. I did see a thing. If we wanted to, thinking about using an abort signal to do the cleanup, we might do that. Is it going to make sense? So we have mouse up and mouse move, and we have dragging. On mouse down. Just thinking about, like, do I want to just add more event listeners here for things? So we have mouse move. I would need mouse enter and mouse leave as well. And the question is, do I want to make handle drag do more things, or do I want to have separate handlers? I might want to expand handle drag, because we already have what is effectively an if else, right? If we're not dragging, there's a behavior, and that behavior is to do nothing. So we're gonna rename this, and this is gonna be handle move. I would just call it mouse move, right? That's what's going on here, right? It's mouse move. And then we're gonna change this around slightly, and we're gonna be like, if dragging to do, add hover, update of hover. Is that gonna make sense? I think so. And I think we won't have to do anything on mouse enter. We will want to do something on mouse leave, right? So if we have mouse movement, if the handle mouse move is called and we are not dragging, then we will do something that will cause the hover, the element that represents like our hover over of where we are in the timeline, what time stamp it is, to be visible and for the time to be updated. And then when we handle mouse leave, we will remove that state or clear that state. And we won't handle something for when the mouse enters, because that won't be necessary. And yeah, I think that'll be fine. I think that'll be fine. And so what I'll do is I'm gonna make this an explicit like else here. So we have essentially else dragging behavior. Yeah, and then it complains because of of course, I have this return here. We'll come back and fix that in a minute. Can Why does it think that that's configured as the formatter? It's a lie. All right, cool. Should be using biome as the formatter. So we do need to have, let's just go ahead. Let's do document add event listener. Except we don't really want to, yeah, we don't want to do that on the document. Yeah, maybe I'll just go ahead and do what I was originally going to do of saying on this div mouse leave handle mouse leave. Okay. Handle house leave. All right. There we go. All right. So to do, what? Clear hover state. We want to just check to see if I feel like I've not seen a lot of Copilot suggestions today. Yeah, so yeah, up here. It's ready. Okay. Anyway, so if we're not dragging, we want to say set the hover state with the location. And well, I can get rid of the return. That'll at least make the error go away. So we need some kind of state. Thinking about that, so we have event, and that's gonna have current target. Yeah. I wonder, does it make sense to move movement X, or at least some of the parts of what's going on down here up above? What is movement X? So it's not. That's not what I want for this. Movement X read-only property of mouse event provides difference in the X coordinate of the mouse pointer between the given event and the previous mouse move event. So that gives us like relative motion for the panning. And maybe you may want to avoid the movement properties and instead calculate delta between the current client values, screen X, screen Y, and the previous client values. So maybe there's some bugs lurking in there. But I'm not gonna fix that right now. So screen X. I think we do want this container pixel width here. And so we want const relative X to be event dot screen X over. I don't think that's right. It has to be this minus container ref dot current dot client left over So screen X minus the offset of the container divided by container pixel width. Is that believable? And then what we want to do is we want to words. Come on, spit it out. We want some state that represents the idea that we're hovering or not. Something like hover location. Set hover location. Okay. Hey, we did some of this already for here. Maybe I should believe past me. And that should be how we do it. And maybe I should think about like putting that in a helper function somewhere. But that's fine. So let's simplify this a little bit. There we go. And then does that really add anything? I think I'm just going to do this, and then we're going to update this code, and then we're going to get rid of a line. Not that line, the other line. Okay. And then set hover location to be our relative x. Okay, that's the do. That's the to done. It's done. And then clear hover state really is really simple, right? Because it's just set hover location to be null. Now, what did that do for us? Nothing. Hopefully it didn't break the timeline. Let's go check that first of all. So if I just refresh, let's do a hard refresh here. And then of course I can click. If I zoom in, I can drag and that still works. I can shift click to select items. Okay, that's good. You know what I should do? I probably should write tests. I could have UI tests in Storybook that would test those things I just did to make sure it still works. Maybe the drag one would be wild to implement. I don't know, but that is the thing I could do. I'm not going to. Not right now, anyway. Okay, so now we need something that appears when the that state is set, right? So we can have like hover location, and let's just make a div. Yeah, and this div will show the hover location. That's not going to be sufficient, but we can at least see something. Let's maybe add some styling to this. We'll do like class name. How do we Tailwind? What do we want? Let's add some padding. There's nothing. Interesting. Can we, how do we do... We do that. Does that sort of work? Let's give more top. I just need something so that I can see the thing. You know, let's do this. Let's do absolute. Is that a valid class? Yeah. Okay. Top 0, left 0. I feel like we should be seeing something. All right, there's a bunch of absolute things. We need like a Z index to see this. There it is. All right. So if we're halfway in, it should be about half, yeah? And when we're all the way at the end, it approaches 1, and then one would think it would disappear when the mouse leaves the div. I mean, it stops updating, except it doesn't. Oh, right. So here's a question. Do I want... All right, I'm gonna change this again. We're gonna change this back because I think I need two callbacks here. I need one for the handle global mouse move. And then we're gonna add another one here that's gonna be const handle mouse move. No. Events. There we go. Okay. So this is gonna be... Also, why is dragging a number? What do we set? Oh, it's the time. I see. So we're... Okay, that makes sense. But wait. And we set it... Okay, that's silly, though. I think. Like, we should just... This should just be null. And this should be... number or null. So hopefully this doesn't break everything, but I think this makes more sense. Yeah, so this mouse move on document is the handle global mouse move. I could rename that callback as well to be like handle global mouse up, but that's fine. And then what we want to do is our logic for mouse movement just on the div is tied here to handle mouse move. Okay. And what is it yelling? Type event, mouse event void is not assignable to mouse event handler, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. Why on earth not? Oh, it needs to be React mouse event. Right. So the other one, the one that's now the global one, is where we are passing that event handler directly to the DOM, and so the type is different. Is the short version of it. Okay, so basically what we want to do is if dragging is null, we're not dragging, and so we want this behavior. If dragging is not null, then we want this dragging behavior, and they need to be separate things. And then we need the same logic though to get the container. Just check that we have a valid container. and that lives there. And that means that so what was happening was, yeah, we hit mouse leave, and it was clearing the hover location state, but because we were handling the global mouse move event, it was still setting the hover location, even when we were not inside of the element, which is the behavior we want for dragging, but not for the hover. All right, so what's it yelling at me about now? Something is red. What is red? Oh, it's maybe something inside of here. Aha. So dragging is possibly null. If use is dragging, don't seek to the time. Dragging is detected if the movement of the mouse lasting longer than 250 milliseconds. Right, so this is why I didn't have it where it defaults to null. I think what I have to do is we are going to revert the change, but I need that logic for determining are we dragging or not to be moved into a function that I can call in multiple places. Because we can't reliably say that we're not dragging if dragging is 0. And the type definition, the type parameter there is redundant if we are actually passing a number. It'll be inferred to be number. So then that means this is wrong. And here, what we want to do is we want to say const is dragging. I mean, really, why don't I just do it this way? And then we just need that logic to live. Elsewhere, if is dragging. Here's the thing, does this need to be a function? Yes. Obviously this needs to return. This isn't Rust. We don't have return last expression. But it needs to be a function because this logic is based on at least the way this was implemented. It's calculating based on when the event happened, not when the component was rendered. If I were to make a constant called is dragging that was set to this value, that value would be calculated when the component is rendered. Now the components can be rendered a bunch of times, a bunch of React stuff, whatever. But what we want is to know what the truth of this value at the point in time when the event is fired. Not when the component is rendered, because those are not the same thing. So at least keeping the behavior consistent, this needs to be a function. So when we're saying, hey, is dragging null, what we actually want to say is if not is dragging, then we're doing this. And then in the container click, we're saying, hey, if we're currently dragging, don't treat clicks as clicks. Is there anywhere else where we are looking at dragging? Right, so if is dragging. And maybe it doesn't matter, it's going to be hoisted, but we'll put this up. It's not a branch, so I don't think it matters that it's above hooks and stuff, so we'll put it there. All right, so Again, I'll just do a hard refresh to make sure we're current. And so if I go over here, I can scroll, I can drag, and when I'm dragging, the hover goes away, right? Okay, I've broken something, right? Because I let go of the mouse, but I'm still panning. And I can't seem to stop panning. Yeah. So what happened? So mouse up is supposed to do something. Oh, did we? Why did I put this in a set timeout? It's a question. Obviously, handle global mouse move is being run because otherwise we would not be panning. Hey, Sagama, still here? So handle global mouse move is still happening. That logic is good. Handle mouse move is is being called, right? Because we are, well, currently we're dragging, so it doesn't work. But we were seeing it before we started dragging and panning. The percentage. Handle mouse leave is only really for the hover. What should be happening is that handle drag end should be getting called. Like we're hooking up to that way up here in mouse up. So are we not getting this mouse up? Hold on. I mean, I'll leave it called handle drag in. I mean, there's something to be said for calling it handle global mouse up for consistency. But why did I have the set timeout there? I feel like there was a reason. I just don't recall what it was. If only I would have left a comment explaining why. Hey, look, 7 months ago. 7 months ago. Big refactor to switch to having the timeline lens in context. So the first thing I want to do is I want to say console log handle drag ends. Okay, so let's do a refresh. And yeah, so let me zoom in so that we can pan. So that behavior makes sense, right? So I clicked the mouse and started moving back and forth. So that's the panning. I guess the question is, once we start panning, we probably want to stop the hover. Now, if I let go of the mouse, handle drag end is called, but I'm still panning. That shouldn't happen. Is dragging. Is there something wrong with this function? Oh. Wait, that isn't. Oh, I see. I see. Right. So 0 is still a special value here. Right? Because if you just interpret if you just interpret it this way, dragging is 0 initially. Like when after we click the first time and then we let go, we set dragging back to 0. Actually, that's interesting. How... Hold on, let's refresh. So I think this means that if I were just to zoom in, yeah, I'm always dragging, right? I don't have to click. Right, okay, that makes sense. So the 0 is a lie, and we're gonna go back again. I've changed my mind again. So there's something special that happens here, right? Which is that if dragging is null, we're not dragging, which is really what that 0 represents. I know that logic is wrong. This should be if dragging is null. There we go. All right, and then everything else is happy because nothing else is actually looking at the value of dragging. It's only setting it. But that also means that in our callback, we need to be setting this to null. Now, do we think the set timeout is important here? I'm not sure why it would be. So first of all, let me hover over. Hey, okay, let me zoom in. Because the way this component works is that the dragging, the panning, only pans if there's something to pan to. It constrains the movement, right? So if you're not zoomed in, yeah, okay, good. So nothing's moving around. We're just seeing the hover. So one of the things we said though, so first of all, I'm gonna remove set timeout. It's not clear to me what the purpose of that is. We'll remove the console log. And I'm gonna rename this handle global mouse up. There we go. So, am I? Nah. Don't be afraid to change your mind about things. Is a thing that I generally agree with. What was I thinking though? So there was something where there was a behavior. Oh right, if I'm dragging, I want the hover to go away, right? So that's what handle drag start does, right? Except it doesn't. No. What we need to do is in handle global mouse move, if dragging, then we need to set hover state, hover location to be null. Is that going to work? Yes. that does work. All right. So now the last thing, well, not the last thing, but a thing we need to do is we need to convert this percentage, the percentage of the currently visible portion of the timeline, which is what that number represents, or really the proportion, the fraction of the currently visible portion of the timeline needs to be converted into a timestamp. So we're gonna do that down here, and somehow we're going to do that. We're gonna do that by using, we should have a lens, relative to time. So this name is misleading. This is not getting something relative to a time. This is literally taking a relative value and turning it into a time. So this would be our hover location. Now, hey, now we have milliseconds. I think. Yeah, I think that's milliseconds. So we zoom back out here. What's the end? The end is about 36, 3,600,000. Yeah, so that tracks. All right, so now I need to convert milliseconds into something. I think I have a util. Util's duration. Format MS. Yep, format MS. All right, cool. So then format MS. What's format MS? Well, we probably need to import that, don't we? All right, so now we have a time in minutes and seconds, or just seconds. I think, yeah, so we don't do conversion to hours. It's always minutes and seconds, because that makes sense for kind of the things that I'm dealing with here. You could choose to like represent it as hours and minutes, or hours, minutes, seconds, or something like that. But yeah, there we go. It's not exactly what I want though. I would like something where the position is relative to where the mouse is. And we should be able to do that. Somehow. Let's do, what do we want to do? We want to do something where we actually say left is, let's see, we gotta do like, we can't do that. We need to do, do something. Oh yeah, here. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we do this, equals this, and then we can do a template string, and then, come on, stop that. There we go. All right, and then there, and then this, and then that. Okay, so left, some amount. What amount? Can we do, I mean, I don't have to do it this way. I could just use style. Yeah, I think that will be easier. Let's unwind this. And we'll do style equals left. Cover location %. Can I do that? What am I missing here? Oh yeah, hold on. So. yeah, there you go. There you go. Oh, right. So this needs to be times 100. All right, it's, yeah, there you go. That's good, right? It's closer. Actually, I don't hate it, honestly. We can still hover over things. Oh, I can't hover over this. The blue bar? Oh no, I can't. Okay, here. I was impatient. Okay, cool. All right, so that is fine, honestly. We might have some kind of contrasting background with some opacity on this. How do we do BG? What do we think? Why amber? Thinking of some opacity there. So what does that look like? Ooh. Not at all what I want. That's cool though. That would have been good to do, to just kind of visualize what the element was that we were replacing. But that could be good for something, that kind of style, but that's not what I'm after. Yeah, forget the background. It'll be fine for now. This at least accomplishes what I set out to do, which is the ability to see the timestamp where I'm hovering over, right? So 2325. So is 1.4 million milliseconds 23 minutes 25 seconds? I obviously not, because the line's over here and I clicked over here. Right, so that's 1214. Oh, right. Of course, the timeline doesn't move here, right? We can test this though. So if we have this value, we go over here and we put this in. Yeah, that's like where I clicked, right? If we go back here and I click where the time is, yeah, roughly the same. Okay, so I think that checks out. All right, so let's commit this and ship it. I think it's about time for me to get some lunch. So what we're gonna do, let me grab, let's see, what's going on in here. Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, let's just, I'm gonna use that commit message because I can't be bothered to do anything else. And we're gonna go over here, we're gonna open a pull request on the right repo. I have chromatic to do some like visual diffs of components. I don't think that any of those will be different from what's already there because this is kind of new stuff. But yeah, what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go find someone for us to raid.